From drug dealer to free. My close call with prison time. TLDR. Almost got locked up for 10 to 20 years for several drug related offenses, but ended up just paying small fines due to some quick thinking and taking a big risk. A bit late to share, but during high school and a few years after, my main income came from selling weed. One day I was chilling at home with my GF. We walked to the 7-Eleven a few houses away to grab some beers. The cashier, someone I knew well by then, asked if I could hook him up with a dub sack. I said yes and promised to be back shortly. I went home and completely forgot about it. After an hour or so, I remembered and thought, oh crap, wait out and return. He had already given me the cash, super important detail for later, so I waited until he had no customers. He came outside and we went behind the ice box, just smoking and chatting. I handed him the bag. At that moment, we were alone. The lot next to us was empty except for this beaten up Volvo parked by the record shop next door. If I'd been more observant, I might have realized that this Volvo had fully tinted windows, which seemed strange for such a worn out car. Suddenly, two men exited the vehicle and approached us. One was a tall, skinny guy clad in all denim, while the other resembled Dog the Bounty Hunter, dressed in a beige sweater. They greeted us, and my clerk and I exchanged looks as if to say, do you know these guys? Then, out of nowhere, they flashed badges and shouted, EPD, you're under arrest, before cuffing us, separating us, and searching us. Beige Dog rummaged through my text, discovering a few questionable messages and some crumpled $20 bills, trying to coerce me into admitting I was doing a lot of business today and such. Then they shocked me by escorting my GF and me back to my front porch, claiming they had noticed my frequent comings and goings and just wanted to ensure you're not hiding a pound of heroin in there, while offering to charge me with a misdemeanor instead. Otherwise, it meant jail and a felony charge. So here we were, on my front porch, me firmly saying there's no way I'll let them into my house, repeatedly asking them to call my lawyer. At one point, my roommate walked out, waved hello, hopped in his car, and took off. At this juncture, Dog said that if I didn't permit him to search the house, he would station a few squad cars on the lawn, force everyone out, and hold off for a warrant, charging everyone in the house with anything they found in any room. Now I realized this was not legal. Back then, I was genuinely scared. My roommate who just left was a total nerd with a fantastic job. He seldom drank and never smoked or experimented with anything. I was frightened at the thought of him losing his job. Unfortunately for me, I had just scored a solid deal on a quarter of mushrooms right before this incident. My area was completely dry on mushrooms, so I had all my deals lined up before obtaining them. Thankfully, 30 feet away on my bedroom coffee table sat a quarter of a pound of mushrooms, neatly packaged into ounces and eighths. Adding to that, the weed I had, it was a precarious situation. So I suggested allowing one of them to search just my room and call it a day. I knew that once I let them in, they could do anything, but I was out of options. Beige Dog agreed. Canadian Tuck stayed behind with my GF, who looked absolutely terrified, like, WTF are you doing? And Dog the Sweater Hunter entered with me. I guided him upstairs and walked right past my door, thankfully closed, and into my straight edge roommate's room. Dog flipped it over. He searched the drawers, turned the mattress upside down, the whole works. As he was doing this, I quietly turned off the monitor that displayed a background of my roommate and his GF glaring at it. He found nothing, stuck to his promise, and escorted me and my victorious grin back downstairs. My GF, probably thinking I'd be going to prison for years, looked like she was going to faint, but I was just grinning. The guy still charged me with a felony. Afterwards, they left. To wrap it up, I forked out a considerable amount for an excellent attorney who happened to know the prosecutor. Since there was no visible money exchanged, the felony charge was reduced to delivery of marijuana. The prosecutor suggested the minimum penalty. I ended up paying a fine of $121, completed 80 hours of community service at a local music venue, got to see a ton of free shows, and officially retired from selling.